Good morning, everyone. So in today's class, we'll be doing Wales framework and other things which G will tell you about later. So I'll begin with introducing you to different word list creation also, and as well as one of the brute force attacks in Kali. So I'll just show you the word lists which are pre-built in Kali right now. So I'll just go on this menu and then search word list. So it'll open up this terminal with the word list by running this command in this directory. As you can see, usr slash share slash word list. So in this directory there are different word lists which are pre-built in Kali. So one of them is rocku.txt, which is a compilation of all the passwords, common passwords or bad passwords which were used by people and leaked somehow. And then this is a compilation. This was updated in I think 2019. So it contains these 13 around I don't know how many lines. I'll show you how many words the rocku.txt contains. So if I do ls, I'll see rocku.txt over here. So I'll just show you word count. So the command is wc slash dash l and then rocku.txt. So it shows that around 14 million words are there in this rocku.txt. So there's GVAT told you about the command which is nano to open a text file. So I'll just show you the other command which is like you know about cat also, cat rocku.txt, which will just display all the files in a txt, all the lines in a txt file. So there's another command which is less rocku.txt. So I'll just show you in the other terminal, this one. So how to go to those directory which I showed you for word list. So I'll do first ls, then pwd. Pw is to print working directory. So I know I'm in home and slash cryptex. So I'll go to my directory which is cd usr usr share and then word list word list word list. So I'm in this directory right now. If I do ls, I'll see those rocku.txt over here also. So the command which I was talking about, which was lets and then rocku.txt. So now I've opened this txt file which is rocku.txt, as you can see over here. Um, this okay. If you're not having this rocku.txt, I'll just show you what to do about that in just a second. Okay. So this was rocku.txt. So now when you're using the command which I showed you right now, which is less, okay, so for that you'll use this up arrow keys to move around or scroll inside of this. You can go through this file as well. So to quit this, you just press Q. So you're out of the less thing. Now we'll show you how you can download this rocku if you don't have it in this directory. Somehow you don't have it. So I'll just show you this right now. So there is this GitHub link. I'll just share with you. So on this GitHub link, it has various other things other than passwords. Like there's a folder here, as you can see, passwords. There's a folder here, usernames. Okay, so this is the usernames folder which I just showed you here. So it has different common usernames for for maybe MySQL usernames. Okay, the 10 million top usernames, some kind of things. And then there's this password folder over here. So in this password folder there are various passwords. So they're like I'll just show you where it's like different top used passwords, you know, from leaked passwords, other passwords, and all these things. Now if you want the rocku file which I just showed you, yeah, I'll just show you. The rocku file is, you'll just search rocku GitHub. Okay, so the first link which comes is the rocku.txt from GitHub. As you can see, releases download data rocku. So if you just even click on it, it'll just download that rocku file which is around 100 MB. So you can just Google this rocku GitHub. And for other specific password which I showed you over here, you can like for Wi-Fi WA password, you can download the top passwords for Wi-Fi also, like to brute force them, like 2020 200 most used passwords. So these are the different types. So you have the Rocku. I showed you how to download it, and Pranjal has some doubt. How can you show the CD command? Okay, to go back to go into the word list. Okay, so I'll just show you again. So I'm back in a terminal. So I'm at pwd, which is this. So I want to go to that directory, which is cd/usr/share/word list. So now I'm in that directory, which is /usr/share word list. So in this directory, I have those files rocku.txt. Um, any other doubt? If somebody has a doubt, you can just raise your hand, or I'll continue. This is the part of hacking, which is this is like you can say this is getting ready for exploitation. You're getting ready for exploitation by getting a word list to um yeah. So if somebody has if somebody has a a different format here instead of rocku.txt, if there's somebody has some different format here which is usually in zip file, like a zip file or something. So you need to extract that. So if somebody has that, you can type in the chat box. I'll show you how to do that as well. If somebody doesn't have any doubt, so I'll go ahead with this. So I'll show you now how to search for a password inside this. Okay, I'll show you how to extract. I'll so wait just a second. Just a second. Yeah. So to extract, I'll just show you. It is I'll just share a screenshot of how it. Okay, so I am sharing a YouTube link in the chat box with the time frame, and in this it'll show you how exactly he extracted this file, Rocku file. Yep. So next thing is how to search inside this file. So I'll just show you how. So we have this Rocku. See, there's a command called grep. Okay, grep. So what it does is searches the txt file. So for example, I have cyber. So this is the word I want to search for in rocku.txt. So it'll just, if I press enter, it'll show you all the words which contain cyber in it. So these are all the passwords containing cyber inside the rocku.txt. So this is how you can search for different passwords. Now, for example, you want to search for special characters as well. So it is grep. I hope you can see the screen. Grep and then F, dash F, and then this wait then this apostrophe, and then for example triple at the rate. So I want to search in rocku.txt. So these are all the words containing triple at the rate. So for example, you can even search for more precise words in this. And so this was like the pre-built word list. So later on in the class today, I'll show you how to create own word list using Crunch also, how you can do that also. So now G will take over and tell you about Whale. So this was the Whale GitHub's page, and I think you had to do the installation using this. Anji will go ahead now. I'll just stop. If you if you have any doubt in this, you can just type it in the chat box, then we'll address it.
Right, good morning, everyone. So we'll start off with Whale. Installing Whale is a very lengthy procedure. If you've cloned it, that's fine too, but I recommend APT. Uh, I recommend the commands on the GitHub page or even on even if you put on WhatsApp because cloning it sometimes results in missing dependencies when you run the setup. But that's all right. You can try to run that way if you have cloned it. But if you haven't already downloaded it, please look at the WhatsApp group or go to the GitHub page and run the setup from there. These commands, make sure you run them. So I told you to run this command last time, but I did not go over the setup. If you run whale, run whale. To me, it shows up, but you'll have to set up. So just type the command and it will set it up for you. It takes a bit of time. It took me over half an hour because I had to download Vine and all the other dependencies. It's a bit tool. But once you've downloaded it, just type whale anywhere and the screen should show up. So we use Whale for creating payloads, for creating viruses, and this is especially used to evade common antivirus solutions. So there are two options, evasions and ordnance. You can know what each option is about using info and then the options info, evasion, then info two. So for now, we focus on creating a payload that bypasses common antiviruses. Use one. Right. So there are 41 payloads in this particular module. So to list all the payloads, we'll do list. And you can see the payloads. So a particular format it follows is the name of the language used, followed by the module. So this is Meterpreter. And then what kind of connection it is establishing. So this is a reverse TCP connection. This is a reverse HTTPS connection. So I'll go with the 15th one. Written in the Go language, uses Meterpreter and establishes reverse HTTPS connection. Use 15. Now let's do show options just like we did in Metasploitable. So these are your options. The default port is set to ET. Now I'll have to set my IP2. Lhost is my IP. Yes, or sir.
Please can you repeat the steps after starting Whale? I couldn't see that because of a network issue.
So I'll exit it. I'll run whale. Use one. We're going to be using evasion to bypass antiviruses. Ordnance is used to make shell payloads. You don't need that right now. So use one. Evasion. Now there are 41 payloads in this particular module, so you'll list all of them. Then see which one you want to use. I'll be using this one. So a particular format that is followed is this is the language used to create the payload. It will be using Meterpreter, and then the connection established will be a reverse HTTPS connection. So it will actually connect back to your computer via a reverse HTTP connection. I'll explain more about that when I get to the exploitation process. So I'm going to use this one, reverse HTTPS. Now these are the options, just like in Metasploit. So you can see I need to enter my IP address. Lhost is my IP address. So I'll spread the terminal and do ifconfig to see what my IP address is. Another note, make sure you have set your network settings to bridge instead of NAT. I'll explain how to do that in a while too. So set, just like you did in Metasploit, set the host. I've copied my IP address. So this will set my IP address to be this. Now I'll set the L port to 8080. You can set it to 82, doesn't really matter as long as the connection is established. Now I'll show options one last time. Options, sorry, not show options. So this will compile to an executable, a .exe. We have filled all the necessary values. Now all that is left to do is generate. Once I click type generate and press enter, it will generate an executable. So the base payload, let's say, let's keep it payload for now. Default is payload. All right, so the payload has been created. Now this is where it is saved. So copy this or just remember this. I copy it, hit enter. So my payload has been created. Any doubts till now on how to create a payload? Because we'll use this again. If there are any doubts, all right, I see no hand raised. A lot of you might not have installed Whale, and so we'll share the recording of the hours after the class. So you can look at that. So we have set up Whale, we generated a payload. Now let's go to the folder where the payload is saved. All right, so output compiled. Now these are all my payloads. The one we just compiled is payload.exe. So just a minute. So now that we have created a payload, what we'll be doing in this class is we'll be spoofing a payload to look like an image. So let's say you send this virus to anyone else, it will appear as if it is an image. In fact, even when you click on it, it will open an image, but in the background, it will execute the script, it will execute the virus, and using Metasploit, we'll be able to gain access to the computer. So I'll teach you how to spoof this as an image. We can make this an image, make it appear as an image really. And once the target clicks on it and opens it, we'll have full access to the computer. So I will go through the payloads once again while you guys download this one thing that I need you to. So just search on Google, Auto8. I'll share the link with you. You don't. Here. So I'll share this link. So what you can do is you can go to your Kali, you can open Mousepad, which is like Notepad for Linux. Now, what you need to do is copy all of this and paste it in that particular Notepad. Copy. And then I'll go to my Notepad right here, and I will paste it. So I want you guys to do this because this meeting will expire in a minute. So I'm ending the meeting, but in a minute, and just join back to the same way. Who ends meetings in 40 minutes? So I'm ending the meeting, but just join back. All right. Until then, copy this in Mousepad. All right. So I'll start now. So I want you guys to go to this link as sent to me in your Kali machines and copy the text over here. Once you copy it, open Mousepad. You can open Mousepad using right Mousepad. Once you open it, paste it here. Once you're in Mousepad, you can save it as. I'll save it in downloads because it's accessible here. The name can be, let's say, test. So this will save this particular file over there. Or I'll just so if I go to my directory just to show you it's saved or not. Go download. This is where I saved it. Right here. Just a minute. Wait, I apologize. My battery got almost run out. So I forgot to put an underscore, so it saved it as a C file. So now it is a TXT file. So what you want to do is I'll open it just for you to see. There it is. All right. So once you have this file open, and it is important you do this. So look at the first line of code. URL1 followed by URL2. So URL1 will be what you want your payload to be spoken as. So I'll go to Firefox and I'll type, let's say, this is again, let's say you want your payload to be spoofed as an image of this game. It can be any image. I'm just choosing this image. So go to whatever image you want in Google Images, click on View Image, and it's important that you click on View Image because it will open a direct link. Yeah, here it is. So View Image. Now copy this link. Once you've copied this link, go to your auto8.txt, the file I made you download or the code I maybe confused. Instead of URL1, Control V, and this is the image you'll be spoofing your payload as. You can also upload it to Ingood, but this is faster. Just go to Google, click on View Image, copy the link that comes up when you click on View Image, and paste it there. As easy as that. Now, the second URL would be the URL of the payload you have just created. So I have just created the payload here. This is the payload I just created, right? Now, what I need to do is once my target runs the script, there should be a direct install for that payload. So as soon as the script runs, there should be a direct install for the payload. So it shouldn't ask, do you want to install this file or not? Shouldn't show up an HTML page. So what I want you guys to do is you can go to GitHub. If you haven't already created an account, please do. We learned it in all the workshops. This is my account. What I'll do is I'll go to your repository. I'll create a new repository. I'm gonna keep it. This is my repository name. Just keep it anything you want. Add a README and create repository. So I'll do it again. Go to your repositories, create a new repository. Repository name, put anything you want. We just want to upload a file, so you don't really need to add a description. Make sure it is public. Add a README file and then create repository. So I've already created this repository. I will go to it. All right, now we'll go to releases. You can see on the right hand side, there is a section for releases. Create a new release. Now go here and then upload your payload over here. So I'll go to the location of and then wait. All right, so payload.txt. Yes, sir.
Please can you repeat the step after creating the repository?
All right. So once you create a repository, I'll cancel this. So when you have created a repository, it'll look something like this. Over on the right hand side, there is an option to create a new release. Right over here, under releases. Click on that option to create a new release. And from there, we'll upload our payload. Is that okay? So browsing, going to my now this was my payload that I just created. I will open this. It will upload. Now it has uploaded. I will publish the release. Valid tag. Sure. Add a tag to just we're just downloading it. It does not really matter what you type. Just add a random tag. Now publish the release. After you've clicked on publish release, you'll be redirected to this screen. Here you can see payload.exe. Now, when you look over here to the bottom left corner of my screen, that is the link you need to copy. So copy link location. So what happens is if I paste this link, it will directly install this executable. It won't show an HTML page that usually comes up. It will open a direct pathway for us to install it without an HTML page. This is why I use the releases in GitHub to make sure there is no HTML pages involved. There are no HTML pages involved. Once you've done that, you've copied the link of your release. Again, go to releases. Yes, you can use a server. You need to set it up, obviously. But you can also set up your web server if you want to. It is faster, but then again, it requires setup. I won't be covering that, but if you know how to do it, please go ahead. So, uh, going forward, click on the copy link of your payload.exe. Go to your file. Instead of URL2, paste it and save it. So we are done with this AutoAid.exe. Now go to download once again. I will open AutoAid just to show you that the changes have been made. The first URL will be what you want, will be the image you want to spoof it as. So what you want it to see, it is, but it is actually a payload. So I want it to be a CSGO image. You can put any image you want. And the second will be the link to your payload. Once you've done this, and this is important, I want you to rename it to a .au3 file from a .txt to a .au3. Should show up like this. Now, if you haven't installed Whale, this will not work for you because AutoWait is a scripting language that gets installed when you install Whale. So once you install Whale, AutoWait will be downloaded automatically. You don't really need to do anything. But if you haven't, you need to download Whale first. So I now have AutoWait.au3. Now I have my payload in it. So what I'll do is I'll compile this to an exe file. Any doubts so far? This is a bit complex, so and lengthy. So is there any doubts so far? Yes, Karan.
Excuse me. Yeah. Like if I click on this image, will my Windows Defender stop it from downloading?
Depends on the payload you use. So if the payload you use is really well edited, so we use something called hex editing, which is to edit the hex data, the metadata of a particular payload. If you've gone to such lengths to really make it an editable payload, then your Windows Defender will not show it up as a virus. But if you just run it, this is simple, right? If you just run Whale like this, there is a chance that you show it as a virus. Your Windows Defender will probably catch it. But if you go further and do hex editing and edit the shellcode, then it won't catch on. But that will take a lot of time. And I just want to show you how it works. You can do that on your own. You can. We'll share resources on how to do that if you want. But running this basic payload, it will probably show. Anyone else have a doubt? All right, if you no doubts. All right, so we have a .au3 file. What we need to do is compile this to a .exe. All right, so I'll go to search here. Just type AutoIt. You should see an option to compile the script to exe. So that's exactly what we want to do. We want to compile AutoIt.au3 to an exe file. The source AutoIt.au3. And this will save and downloads. Now, to make sure this file is as really, because you'll be sending this to a person, so you want it to really seem like an image. So Windows shows the preview of an image. So what you should do, and which I'm not going to do right now, is the image you just put in that file. So this image right here, save this image, downloads. I'll show it anyways. Convert it to an ICO, to PNG to ICO. Now, .ico is the extension for an icon. So if you go to your Windows, and anytime you see an image, there is a preview of it. So in order to make this more believable that it isn't an exe but really an image, we put an icon for it too. I'll go to my downloads. The .jpg file. It is a .jpg file. So right now I will download this file. I will save the file. What I've done is I've converted my JPG to an ICO. Now this will be set up as a preview for the image for your payload. Again, go back to the compiling part. Custom icon, browse. Downloads. csgo.ico. Open. And that's it. So again, you need to go to source. This will be your .ae3 file. Destination will be filled automatically. It needs to be in .ae3. Now you can put a custom icon if you want to. It definitely helps. Now once you put a custom icon, click on convert. Conversion has been completed. So just to show you. Um, yeah, automate.exe. Here it is. Now this is still showing up as an a .exe, right? We want this to seem like an image. If we actually transfer this to Windows system, even with the preview and all, it will still be a .exe file. Go to File Manager and open this file that we have right now. It will seem like it is an exe file, which it is. So what we need to do is make sure it has a .jpg extension. And this is a bit complex, so make sure you pay attention to it. Copy the file name, open mouse file. Right. So paste the name of the file here. You know what? Let's change the file name. Let's rename it to csgo.exe. So let's go to my mouse file. Now, what we want to do here is add a .jpg extension. And this is how you do it. So you do csgo. Now, what we will do here is we will put JPG over here, but reverse. I'll explain why in just a minute. .exe. So what this will do is, if you can see, it is the complete opposite of JPG. So what we'll do is we'll put a right to left override characters here. What that means is anything that is to the right of this will go to the left of this. It will be flipped. So if you flip this exact sentence, just try to flip this in your mind. You will see that exe will come before and then .jpg. So if we put a right to left override character, what this will become is csgo exe .jpg. So any doubts with that? All right, I see no doubts. Proceeding. We will also share the recordings. We understand this is a bit complex too, especially if so many of you don't have Whale installed. So we'll share the recordings. So keep that in mind. Now we need the right to left override character, right? So I'll just enter that in. Okay. The first result that comes up. Copy it. It isn't showing up anything here. Copy. Go to your mousepad file. Put your cursor exactly here, just behind the GPJ, and press Ctrl V to paste the override character. And you can see it transformed to csgo.exe.jpg. Now, if I remove the override character with Ctrl Z, it changes back to CS4 GPG. Once again, enter the name of your file, add gpj just before.exe, copy the override character, and paste the link in the chat box. Right, so copy this, place your cursor just before.jpj, Control V, I paste it there. Now, when you paste the character, just a minute. I need to copy it again. So put my cursor here, Control V, copy this, go to the downloads file again, rename cs4.exe, and paste what we just did. This will still be an exe file. Now, you might be wondering why we needed to go to the trouble of putting a right to left override character when we could just have renamed this as cs4.jpg from by using this rename option. Why can't we just rename and put csv jpg? Sorry. Now, the reason why is it will try to change its extension to a .jpg, and it won't have the left to right override character. So what the left to right override character is doing is it is making it seem as if it is a .jpg, not actually converting it, which is why we use the left to right override character. This is still very much .exe. Any doubts still here? All right, I see no doubts. So moving on. Now we have this file, but we can also compress it. So let's compress it. Yep. All right, so here it is. What we'll do is we'll send the target this file. So another thing, you can see that it's CSGO exe.jpg. What you can do is you can rename it to something that ends with exe to make it a bit more believable. But that exe extension will not go away. So you need to have exe at the end of the file name anyways. So to make it more believable, you can put whatever a word that ends with the exe. So I have this file right here. I will send this to myself on my Windows computer. I'm not discussing a delivery method now. I will in, let's say, after the break. So let's go over to GitHub. You can set up a shared folder too. I'm going to go to GitHub because it's faster. Doesn't really matter. Repository. Go to releases to the download file. Now add my file over here. Going to downloads. Here it is. This is my zip file. I will upload this over here. I will publish these and so I have published this. I will copy the link. You guys can try it yourself. I would send you the link, but for the payload I have created, it has my IP address, which really won't be useful. So now I will also stop sharing and present my Windows screen. Just a minute. And, Right. Right, so it's my screen. What I'll do over here is I will paste the link. This is where I uploaded my payload. I will save the file for now. Now, before your target actually opens this file, I will present Kali again. Just a minute. All right. So this is where the exploitation part comes in. We've created a payload. So far, it's just been making the payload look better, more believable. But in essence, we have a payload, we have a virus that we have sent to the target. But we need to use that payload for exploitation as well. So to do that, we'll go to MSF console. I will allow you stuff. Go to MSF console. So the exploit will be using, the model will be using for listening into the connection is exploit multi-handler. This is the exploit you use in order to listen into the connection. So once your target clicks on that .exe, reverse HTTPS connection will be established to your machine. Once that happens, you will have full access to his machine. So now, once you use this, I'll paste this in the chat box. This is a module we'll be using, exploit slash multi-handler. Now show options. Before that, you can see the configured payload generic shell reverse TCP. That isn't what we want. We created a payload for Metapreter and reverse HTTP. What I'll do is set payload Windows Metapreter reverse underscore HTTP. Now I'll do show options to see the it needs the L host and it needs the L port. So make sure you enter exactly what you put for the payload, otherwise your session will not work. Even if the target opens it, you will not be able to gain access to the machine. So for now, I knew what the payload was because I just created it using Rail. I used a reverse HTTPS there using the Go language, but it is with Windows. Just reminding you how to see the payloads, show payloads. Yeah, so there are around 550 payloads that can be used with this particular module. We'll use the one we just used, depending on what you created the first payload based on. If it was a reverse HTTPS, you use reverse HTTPS. If it was a reverse TCP, you use reverse TCP. So coming to show options once again, I need to set the L host, be my IP address, and get that using IS control. So 192.168.1. Now the port I used for my payload was 8080, so I enter the port here. Now show options once again. Everything is set. I am ready to exploit. I will start exploitation. Doesn't matter if the target hasn't clicked on the exe yet. It will still listen in, and once the target clicks on it, it will start a session. So it has started a reverse HTTPS handler. You will not worry about this. We will go to my Windows computer. I will share my screen. So this is where my payload is saved. Which I've already saved it. I will go to my file manager. Just a minute. Right. Stop it for now. I apologize for the delay. My laptop was crashed. All right. I'll share my entire screen. That will be faster. All right. So I'll quickly go over it. So I'm sharing my screen. I'll share my entire screen. That will be faster. My virus protection is turned off because it will probably detect it. I don't want to waste time for that. This is my download. I have downloaded this. I will extract it here itself. Now you can see csgo.jpg. You can see a file. It just you can see that an exe does not appear here. It looks just like an image. I will start this. Double click on it. And as you can see, it opened up an image for me. So the target won't suspect it. So this is the image. Going back to my Kali machine. A Metapreter session has been opened. So I am successfully in the target computer. So just to give you a recap of what happened, what we did was we created a payload. We spoofed it as a GPG. We sent it to the target. The target thought it was a GPG. So for example, if you go to my file system right here, it's csgo.jpg. And exe doesn't even appear here. Right? It has a preview and I can just like a normal image would, which is perfect. So once the target opens this image, a real image will also open for them, making them think it is actually a genuine image. So they won't suspect anything, and you will have a reverse HTTPS connection established. A Metapreter session is opened in your Kali machine. If I do sysinfo, I am successfully in my target machine, which is my laptop. So this info shows that this is Windows 10. I can do anything I want. Basically, the laptop is mine. I can also capture using the webcam. I can capture photos using webcam. For that, let's see what the command is for that. We can just look at Metapreter commands by themselves. Starting with webcam underscore list. All right, so you can see the webcam I'm using. I can
Also, Jeef,
set up a, yeah,
yeah, only 1 minute is left, so
all right,
rejoin using the same link, okay? So we'll just end the
right,
meeting
okay.
right now. You can rejoin using the same link.
Please join fast because we're almost done with this, and then we'll move on to spoofing using an email ID. All right, if my screen is visible, we had opened a Metacritic session, which means that we have full access to the target machine. You can run a couple of commands. You can run a command to capture an image from the target's webcam. So I don't have the command with me right now. I'll share it as a resource. Once you run that command, it will capture an image using the target webcam, and it will uh, the image will appear right here in this Metacritic session. Again, you can do anything you want. You can look up Metacritic commands, and yeah, so that's it for Metacritic. Jasraj will take over now. So that's it for Will. If anyone has any doubts so far, please raise your hands. All right, I see no hands raised. Over to Jasraj.
So I will go over how to make, we've gone over how to, about the RawQ thing, the password which was the password text file. So now I'll tell you how to create your own word list, like your own custom word list. So basically the tool which we'll be using is Crunch. So this is the tool. So the help command is crunch /h. So as it says, it can create a word list based on the criteria you specify. So the output of the crunch will be sent to the screen file or another program depending on what we specify. So the syntax will be crunch minimum numbers, like the minimum words, letters, sorry. So minimum letters, maximum letters, and then the options. So for example, I'll just show you one option is the output, which is this. So this will output this to a file. So I'll just show you one example. Crunch minimum letters is 1 and maximum is let's say 2, and then we output it to the file which is let's see, test.txt. So as it said, it generated around 700 lines. So now I'll just show you ahead. Edit, so we can see test.txt. So if I do less, the command to view the files, so test.txt. So in this, it had created um, a file which started with one letter and then ended at two letters using all the combinations. This is around 700 lines. And if you go to the end line, which is ends with ZZ, so these are all combinations, two letters. Okay, so I'll just quit this. Now I'll show you different things you can different how to customize it more. Let's say the manual. So the how to see the manual is man and then crunch. So this will open up the manual or the documentation which is inbuilt into Kali, which came along with this program. So the name is crunch generate word list. So the options which we are interested in, one of the options was this uh, O, which was specify the output, and then the next thing which we are interested in is this T. So what this T does is specifies a pattern. As you can see, read this. Specifies a pattern. So example, if we specify T and then if we enter God, so instead of these at the rates, it will insert the lowercase characters. So I'll just show you how it is done. So I'll open a new tab. So it is crunch. So let's do three letters, okay, 3 3. So now I'll do is enter this T. Let's see, um, A, and then at the rate, and then let's do Z. Okay, so instead of this at the rate, it will enter all the random characters which are undercase, lowercase. So I'll output it to a file which is test2.txt. It generated 26 lines. So I'll just show you less t test2.txt. So instead of that at the rate, as we can see here, it a is constant. So the value which we specified here, that this at the rate is changed. As we can see, the at the rate is being changed by random characters, which is a to z, and the word which we specified here, like God. So here we specified a and z, so that is constant, that is not changing. So for example, you wanted to enter words, numbers instead of this at the rate. If you want numbers, so we can specify that by using as you can see here, this percentage sign. So we'll enter this percentage sign here instead of that at the rate. It will enter random numbers here, which is 0 to 9. So I'll enter percentage. So it got 10. So I'll just do less test2.txt. Okay, wait, yeah. So as you can see here, the numbers are entered here instead of that percentage sign here, and a and z is constant. So this is how we could manipulate this, and this by putting this sign we can enter symbols randomly. So basically here you can see the examples in the manual. So if you want to go ahead and customize it more using whatever you think, like for example, I'll just show you one thing. So if we know some information about the target, for example, we know it's a date of birth or something, so I'll just show you how. Crunch, uh, let's use 8 is too much, or 6 and 6 letters. Okay, so now we'll enter the output, which is word list word list 1.txt, and then we'll use the p parameter. So p will enter, and then we'll enter words, like we know 20 to 2004, let's see, and then we know the name, which is Jeev. We know his other name, which is, let's just take it as random words. If we know these three things, and then if we press enter, it will say it generated 3 lines. So basically what it'll do is it'll use these 3 words and it'll mix it up, and then it generates. So I'll just show you how. Word list 1.txt. So here 2004 Jeev Papu, 2004 Papu Jeev, it'll just randomize those 3 words. And I think the number of this number does not work. So because it'll take the words, here it'll just randomize these words, it'll not take this. So this is like a custom words which you can specify to use. Instead of using ABCD, you can specify these words to use. So I'll only show you this much, but you can go ahead and look at this man crunch, and it will give you more options and things which you can use. For example, if you go through these examples, you will understand more and how to do this. And one thing I would say that don't like, for example, I'll just show you crunch. If we do eight letters, and if I generate a very big if I just do 8 it will be very big file, right? So if I do test3.txt, it will be very big. As you can see, it's like 1 terabyte of files. So don't keep generating this. Like it'll just like make sure you have enough space if you are even doing this. So this is a lot. 1 point this around 1 terabyte, around 2 actually. So keep it short, and yes. So now, if we have word list, now I'll show you how to brute force some of the things. If you have a word list, so I'll show you how to brute force um, SSH. Okay, so I have a Metasploit machine here. I hope you can see. This is the Metasploit machine over here. So I did ifconfig. I know the IP address of this Metasploit machine. As you can see, this. So I'll just go here and I'll show you nmap. Nmap. Let's do specific port, which is 22, and on that IP 162. So it said SSH port is open, so we have an open port. So now I'll try to brute force this port. Okay, so I'll just link you one guide I was looking at. So this has guide how to brute force using custom um, passwords and all that. So I'll just a second. Yeah. So first we'll be using Metasploit here. You can use Hydra as well. But I'll show you Metasploit as we have done Metasploit before, and you'll be familiar with this as well. So Metasploit, basically it's we're using to brute force SSH. So as it suggests in this guide, we'll search SSH login. Okay. So for that we'll open Metasploit. For that I'll use MSF console to open Metasploit. So it's opening right now. Yeah. So I have Metasploit open. Wait, I'll just close this tab. Yeah. Wait, I have already opened it. Yep. Yeah. So this is the Metasploit. So I'll begin with what the guide says. It said search for SSH underscore login. So basically we'll search for SSH underscore login. We have found that this is the matching modules which the expert will be using. So instead of copying this and writing use this, we can also use the ID number here. So which is 0, use 0, the first one. So it selected that. So now we have this. So we'll do show options to see all the options available. So here we can see we have to specify our host. All the things which are required we have to specify. So our host, we know the IP address. So set our host 192.168.0. Our host is set. Now we can increase the number of threads also, but for now we'll not increase it. So now we have to specify the password file over here, as we can see, which is not required, but we will specify it so we can brute force. So I know I'll create a password file right now. So I'll go to my desktop. I'll create a document empty file ssh msf.txt. So in this password file, I'll just enter random passwords for now, but you can use Crunch to, yeah, it's opened using Atom. Just a second. Okay, let's just ignore it. Open using Atom, but you can use other editors, text editors as well. So we'll just enter. I know the password, which is msf admin, so I'll not use it as the first password. I'll use admin. Wait, s admin, and then cryptex, something like that. Random words. Okay, I've entered like 4 passwords now. I'll save it. I'll close this. Now we have this. Now I'll go back to my terminal, which is this one. Okay. So now I know my passwords word list is on my desktop. So I'll go here, properties. It's on home cryptex slash desktop. So I'll go back to my terminal. I'll use set this, and then it was ssh underscore msf dot txt. Oh, I forgot to write to it. So we have to do set, which is pass underscore file. So now I've set the password file to this. So I'll have to specify a username. So as before, I showed you this website here. Yeah, so here this was the usernames, default usernames, txt file. So these are all the top used usernames. So either you can use this. For now, to save time, I'll just use default password which I know, which is username which I know, which is msf console. So I'll just msf admin. So I'll use set username msf admin. If you can't, yeah. So I've set the username and password. Now I'll just do exploit. So we'll try to brute force it. Let's see if we missed something. We set the username. We didn't do this, but yeah, we can do that. And then shop on success, set threads for all, everything is done. So let's just see if it successfully. Yep. So it says here, it got a success with MSF admin. Like, we gained access to this. So we know the password is MSF admin. Now we can do a simple login, which is by SSH, the IP 192.168.0.110, specifying the username, which was we found right now, MSF admin. Now it is asking for the password. We know that it is MSF admin. So now we've gained access to the Metasploitable. If we go ifconfig here, we'll see that we have gained access to this machine, which is my Metasploitable over here. The same IP address 110, and here also 110. So that was basically how to use brute force with Metasploit and gain access using SSH. So that was all for today's class. Jeev, do you want to say something?
So I mentioned that we'll be doing email spoofing too, but since we're out of time, we'll either do it in the next class, or more likely we'll share resources and we'll tell you how to do it. Please go over it. It is very interesting. Basically, what it is you'll set up your own, you'll use a web server, and you'll use that to send emails as someone else. So, for example, you can send it as Amazon.com, and it isn't that it will change the domain from Amazon.com to something fake. It will show up as Amazon.com, and it will be very legit. So, I suggest you check it out. It is very interesting and very useful. We'll share a guide on how to do it, and we'll share the recording by today for sure. That's it for today. Thank you, everyone. If you have any doubts, tell us in the WhatsApp group. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You can leave this meeting. I'll just end the meeting for everyone.